Thank you, Chrissy. I'm Sharon, the family coach on the Chrissy B Show, and today I'm going to be interviewing Ella. Welcome to the show, Ella.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about your story and when you started to notice the issues around mental health.
So I was adopted from China when I was 9 months old, because at that time there was the one-child policy. So obviously you could only have one child. I've always suffered from anxiety. So when I was a young child, I didn't like being separated from my mum because I was always scared that she would forget about me or she would leave me. So I always had that anxiety with me, but I started noticing differences in my body language when I was about 13. And that would be, I was not eating properly and my mood started changing a lot and I was just a lot more sad.
Okay, so what did you start to notice? What was different, Ella?
It wasn't as noticeable for other people, I don't think, but for me, I felt a lot lonelier than I had before. I found it difficult to talk to people, and I just felt like I didn't have anyone around me or no friends, and I couldn't just be happy, and yeah.
So how do you think that being adopted has impacted on your mental health?
Well, obviously from a very young age, being with your mother is very important because you make such a strong connection with her, because obviously you're with her a lot of the time and I didn't have that. So that's affected me, as I didn't get the love and care that I needed when I was young. So growing up, I found it harder to trust people because I didn't have that affection for me. I didn't have relationships I could trust, because every time I made a relationship, I knew I would get torn apart from them.
And you were adopted by a British family?
Yeah.
And how old were you then?
9 months.
Okay. And so tell me how they have supported you through your struggles with mental health.
Well, when I was younger, as I mentioned before, I had very bad anxiety. So they went to courses to listen to people talking about adoption and separation anxiety. And then they helped me in school. They got me speaking to a teacher who would take me out of lessons for 5 minutes, and we'd talk about the day and the structure and what was going to happen, so I knew what I could expect. And then more recently, they've got me a coach, which is you, and I've been starting adoption therapy. They took me to the doctors when I told my mum about everything, and when she knows I need help, she's always there to support me.
Okay, so it sounds like you've got a really good relationship with your mum. So tell me what you do now to look after your mental health. How do you sort of keep yourself well? How do you notice perhaps when things are going off track a little bit? What do you do to look after yourself?
Well, every morning I do a meditation. It could be just 3 minutes, 1 minute or 5 minutes. And that always helps me, puts me in a positive mood for the day. I go to you for like monthly sessions just to catch up and help me get into routines if I've lost them, like doing my meditation. Every week I go to my adoption therapy, and I just talk to her about everything that's gone on in my week and how I feel about it, and we do some activities to help me process my adoption. So right now we're doing like a timeline, so obviously major things that have happened in my life, and then at the end, I guess, I'm going to look at that and hopefully be able to process it more.
So tell me, Ella, we have, during our sessions, we've spoken about how different you felt sometimes. So tell me a little bit about how being different has been a positive. How have you reframed that for it to be a positive?
I guess it makes me more unique than other people. And it's given me something special that I can cherish forever, and obviously because it's affected my mental health, it's made me a stronger person, and I think it's made me more aware of everything that goes on, because I've suffered the trauma from a young age, so that's given me an awareness of everyone else, and I think that's one thing I'm really happy that I have.
And tell me how coaching has helped. We've worked together, but what would you sort of say to somebody out there your age that is sort of maybe struggling to ask for help? You know, what would you say to them? What's been helpful?
It's definitely changed my mindset. I'm a lot more positive, and I've realised that. And working with you's made me not care about other people, about other opinions that people have of me, because, you know, it's like they can say whatever they want, but in the end, I know the truth. And I think you've taught me, instead of saying, like, I can't do this, I can do this, or I can try and do this, and then if I work my way up, I'll finally get there.
So tell me what your plans are to continue to look after your mental health, and how you're going to use your story to sort of, to carry on with your journey into having good, healthy mental health.
Well, I want to, share my story more, so people in my situation can see that there's other people who might feel like them, or who are like them and have been in similar positions, because I feel like adoption isn't a thing people really talk about, because obviously a lot of people have been adopted, but I've never heard of someone who's spoken out about mental health who has been through that, because it is a big traumatic thing that can happen to a baby. So I think it's very important that people do have someone they can listen to, and I hope that can be me. I hope that I'm able I hope they're able to relate to me when they do hear my story, so that they don't feel as alone, and I hope people think they can talk to me about it.
And what would you say the first symptoms were that you noticed?
I would probably say it was my eating. My eating went downhill quite a bit, and I think I didn't know what was going on at that time, so I just knew I wasn't okay, I wasn't feeling happy, and I needed a way of controlling that. And I found that if I stopped eating, I felt like I had the power and I was in control of everything, but I wasn't really.
So you felt that the eating thing gained you control, even though now you can reflect back and say that wasn't the case. Thanks very much, Ella. So it's been wonderful interviewing Ella, and back to you, Chrissy.